Welcome to a nutty adventure exploring personal growth and wellness, breaking down the stigma around mental health along the way. Let's dive in because now it's time to show me your nuts.
Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday again, and you know what that means. I'm Stacy Braiuca, the Squirrel Wrangler, and welcome to Show Me Your Nuts, where we get to wrangle your inner squirrels and get real about mental wellness and technology. Got Techxiety? I saw that. So, let me ask you, how charged are your nuts today? Let's dive into today's fun topic. Here's where I'm excited about today's topic, but I need your help. So if you're in the audience and if you can, I need your help. So today's topic is practical tools and resources, like tech tools and resources that support your mental wellness. So think whether you're juggling deadlines, apps, or emotions. Today's conversation is to bring real stories and tips to help you breathe easier, think clearer, and make the tech work for you, not against you. And I'll go ahead and start with the story that happened this morning. So I meet with friends in a meeting platform that is really cool. It's much more comfortable than Zoom, so it helps my mental wellness by just like not being one, I don't have to set the room up every time. I don't have to make sure everybody has the link. The link is the same every time. And I can lock the space if I want to. I can unlock it. It's, to me, it's easier than Zoom. And that supports my mental wellness in that I don't have to do all the extra things. I'm lazy. I am a lazy squirrel. I'm lazy so that I can get more done with the time I save of the other things. So if I don't have to send out this, that, and the third, then I have more time to say, get ready for that thing. And I'll say be more productive, but that's really a story for another day because it depends on your perception of productivity. But So, I save the time from being on a Zoom call by being in this platform. And it's a comfortable place. I can put extra files there to show people. I can embed things. You can't do that in a Zoom room. I can link other things. So like if we were in one of those rooms right now, which it looks very much like that, let's say I linked the Breakthrough Show Network, that little sign, I could link it to the Breakthrough Show Network so that you'd be able to go and look, and I'd be able to say, hey, just click there and you can learn more about the Breakthrough Show Network. It'd be really cool if StreamYard would do that. That would be cool. Then I could just say, oh, just click right above me. But instead I'll say, just click in the description below and learn more about Breakthrough Show Network. Squirrel. Jessica was just dropping by to say happy nutty Thursday and that she has rabid squirrels there. So she's going to go tend to those. And so I'm blessed that she stopped by. I hope that her rabid squirrels are all good. I'm going to have to check in on her later. Okay. Place like this, you can link things to. Because of that, the space is like a web page, a video meeting, and there's a way to friend people and find out where your friends are and go move around. So it supports my mental wellness by having a community in one space, by me not having to set things up ahead of time, by having it be way even more interactive. And so I can focus, instead of dealing with what the technology is doing, I can focus on who's on the other side of the camera. I can focus on the people who are in the other chairs. Like if you were in the studio here with me, you'd sit in little round circles in these other chairs. Very much like this place we play. But it didn't support my, it did not support me this morning. And I say that to say that you can be a geek girl and love all the tech things like me, and still have tech kick you in the butt or piss you off or not work. And it reminds you in that space that, one, you're human. Two, it's okay to not know everything. I don't want to know everything, by the way. Just for reference into the world. I don't want to know everything. I want to know as much as I can in this life. I am an avid learner. I am a learner by like heart. You know, I'm one of those ones that if you hear something in a movie, you're like, oh, let's go use whichever technology we have right now to find out what the word blah, blah, blah means, or where XYZ place is, or who this actor or actor is. I was in a thing today and somebody said the phrase trauma dumping, and we had a whole discussion about the word trauma, this phrase trauma dumping, because it's a culturally added phrase. It's not a piece of the English language, in that the phrase trauma dumping is something that was used. You would never have heard that phrase 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago. It's a socially constructed cultural phrase. And there are socially constructed cultural phrases in and this is in the English language, that were constructed hundreds of years ago and that we don't use now. Or there's ones that were 50 years ago that we don't use as much anymore. You could call it slang, you can call it culturally constructed phrases, whatever it is, and that they have meanings based on that development of those linguistics, to be honest. And so trauma dumping is not something that I had ever looked up. And so, to be clear, in the conversation I was having, went to the Googles, looked up the thing, but not just in the Googles. I went to go to AI mode and tell me more. Or now, instead of Googling things, frequently we chat GPT that, go over and GPT that, go over and find, and like, so here's another phrase in the language that has come about because of technology. People use those tools to support their mental wellness. And sometimes they cause more stress and sometimes they alleviate the stress. Technology tools can cause either thing for different people at different times. There are no hard and fast rules in this whole like use technology to to better your mental wellness. There's no hard and fast rule. A technology tool that helps me may cause somebody else extreme stress, and vice versa. Do not get Stacy or the squirrels near any printers in the world, because somehow I will kill them. It's by proximity, I will kill them. I'll kill the printer. When I print things, I usually have to ask my husband, hey, would you print this for me? Because I know that if I try and print it, I'm going to get mad at the thing. I'm either going to want to crush it, or the damn thing's just not going to work, or it's going to get a paper jam that I didn't have anything to do with. So just, can you print it for me so that I don't have to worry about it? Thankfully, most of my life is lived on PDFs, and I print to PDF and then send people things, or I send it from one device to the other. But every once in a while, you've got to have something printed. And I kill printers. I also kill plants, house plants. So I don't even touch the house plants in the house or in the garden. The only thing I'm allowed to do in the garden or any kind of plant like that is harvest. So as usual on Show Me Your Nuts, I digressed. So I'm going to bring myself back. Technology can help by supporting our mental wellness, and it can cause anxiety or issues with our mental wellness. Here's another example of a culturally created word phrase that wasn't around 20, 30, 50 years ago: doom scrolling. Now, did people do something akin to doom scrolling then that was the same kind of thing, just without technology? Yeah. So these words come about because of how we interact with the world, and they develop that way. But that doesn't mean that the action is necessarily a new thing. So I'm going to read the definition of doom scrolling: compulsive consumption of excessive amounts of negative news and distressing information online, often on social media, leading to increased anxiety, stress, fatigue, or poor sleep. So technology is then causing an increased anxiety, stress, fatigue, and poor sleep. So it's causing issues with the mental wellness. However, I'm going to say it's not the technology's fault. It is the behavior of the human to choose the compulsive consumption of excessive amounts of negative news and distressing information. In this case, online. So let's say instead of doom scrolling, would it, let's look at 100 years ago. Would it have been doom news reading? And that caused excessive anxiety, depression, issues with sleep? Yes, because we've always had good and bad things in the world, and it's our choice to consume the thing or not that causes the problems, not the technology itself. I defend technology a lot. I do. I have an affinity to it, and it's because I see the positive things it can do. So I am in defense mode frequently when someone says, "Oh, I hate AI because it's taking over the world," or "I hate computers because it's causing doom scrolling. I hate blah, blah, blah because it's causing blah, blah, blah." When in reality, what happens is as humans, we create the things we create in the world, and our behaviors cause someone else's reactivity behaviors to be whatever they are. It's like, let's dig down and find out what the actual issue is. The actual issue is that your choice to doom scroll, to compulsively gather that news, no matter what its source, is what is causing the things. I'm not saying it's a good thing that you end up with the anxiety. I'm not saying it's a good thing that you have the compulsion behavior to begin with. Those are things that are challenges for people. And it's challenges because we reach out for those things because we're trying to fill a need, or for whatever reason we like reading about crazy stuff, or whatever the reasons, and no shame or fault there at all. We're all drawn to different things. But let's dig down and call it what it really is. Because by just blaming the technology, we're sidestepping the actual challenge and the actual issue. And blaming technology is not, it just causes more negative energy. So let's shift to the positive energies. What if technology helped us stay connected to people that live around the world, that we could always find somebody who's awake at 2 a.m. to listen to us if we were worried or upset. Or we could always get a hold of a friend because we can text message them, or we can send them a private message, or we can send them a WhatsApp. And if they're asleep, they can turn the technology off and they might not be available. But we have the ability to connect with more people. So it's using the technology to connect so that we can socially connect, so that we can be there for each other to deal with negativity and challenges, or that we can share joy. And in this, think about it. 30 years ago, we didn't have the depth of access to a video call. 40 years ago and 50 years ago, that was still stuff on the Jetsons, and we didn't even think it was possible. Now, it's very it is possible. I know that the technology actually was there at that time, but it was not as accessible as it became closer to the year 2000 or so. In the 90s, 2000s is, we started having access to video calls. And I'd have to look it up to know the exact years and those things. So if somebody knows in the chat, help me out. Somebody's got the Google's availables. That's cool. But that was like memory wise, that's my recollection of that. And that we, but before that, and when I was growing up in the 70s, that was stuff on the Jetsons. You didn't have an oven that knew what kind of food had in it, and therefore it could cook it at the right temperature and the right this, that, and the other. And hello, did I just describe an AI oven? Maybe. It's not that far out of reach now when you think of something like that. Or robots that are cleaning houses. Rosie on the Jetsons was not, that didn't happen. Or Astro, even the robotic dog, or a robotic dog. I don't remember if Astro was robotic or not. If you know me, my media references are, they're somehow my hard drive doesn't hold on to media references. It just kind of lets them go. It holds on to other stuff. My hard drive's not built that way. Things that were science fiction at one point frequently become some form of science fact. But not all things that are forms of science fiction become fact, or what happens. So, cases in point. Jetsons, video calls, brings us together as humans and supports our mental wellness by allowing increased social interaction that involves seeing someone's face and being able to read nonverbal communications as well as verbal communications. The only thing that I can't do on a video call with someone is smell them or touch them. And that's just how they're situated right now. That's not to say that if we eventually had smell-o-vision or touch-o-vision, that we wouldn't, or whatever we call it at the time, it's going to have its own name, that won't further support our connection as humans. Now let's look at the other side of things, the things that people are worried about and afraid of and upset at, is dystopian videos and movies and books and science fiction where the computers take over the world. And I'm going to call bullshit on that at the moment. The way things are, I'm calling bullshit on it, because the reason any machine does anything is input from a human. So if we're going to trace back why machines would take over, it's because the human told the machine to do it. So it's still the human's input that does that. And I'm going to hold on to it until I don't hold on to it. And if the machines take over by then the machines take over. And maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Maybe it would actually be better than what we've got going right now, because we've got some weird shit, but that's a different show. The idea that anything a piece of technology does is because a human put an input in. You said Google, you typed it, you used your fingers, you typed on the keyboard, you typed google.com and hit enter, and it goes to a place called Google. You type in your question and it answers your question. You still have input into the thing. The thing then tells you something, you react and put something in there. So describing that doom scrolling is your behavior in specifically online, looking up compulsively consuming excessive news sources, negative news sources. That's still a human behavior. And it doesn't matter whether you're looking it up on the Googles, looking it up on the GPTs, or if you found it in a magazine at the grocery store. It's still human seeking out compulsively the negative things, because the human also has the choice to seek out and be a part of joyful things and happy things. Am I saying that that's like how people become mentally well? Oh, hell no. There's lots of things involved in mental wellness. It's not simplicity in anything, and it's not easy to understand. And frankly, none of us on this planet, even anybody with any kind of education, if somebody has education in mental wellness and they say they understand everything about it, they're lying to you. I have 30 years experience in it. I have shit tons of experience, education, letters, all the shit. I still only know what I know, and it's still this much, and it's only the things in here. I can tell you with 1,000% certainty that I know this. I know the current state of it as it sits. Are there new things that happen inside this brain all the time, and I'm still learning about who I am and what I do? Hell yeah. But it's the only one that I can say I know. And the knowledge that I've consumed, yes, I've consumed a lot of knowledge. I've put it together, but that doesn't mean I know everything about mental wellness. I can't. Not sure that I want to, but I can't. And none of us have exclusivity on any subject. Period. End of story. None of us have exclusivity in that knowledge. Now, do each of us have our things that we have that we are great at? Absolutely. And thank God. Thank God I have friends that have knowledge in this, that, the third, and something else, because I don't. And I can't. And thankfully I can call them up and go, hey, that thing that you know how to do, can you help me out? And it's funny that I bring my hand up like a telephone, because I absolutely hate telephones. I have a mental block against it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I do not have a mental block against the chat. And I have just saying happy Thursday. So my social supports show up for me every freaking show, and I'm so blessed. Jessica dropped by, Sang's dropped by. I don't know for sure who else is in the audience. I wish I could tell for sure. I just know that there's somebody watching on Breakthrough Show Network, and there's somebody watching on Twitch. I like that I can find that out, though. I'm not sure that I knew that before. And Henry Cameron Allen hit me up with a heart, so I can tell that. Facebook love on the from the HCs. Yeah, I love that. That's either StreamYard's doing new things or Stacy's learning new things. I'm not sure which way that works. But it brings me joy and supports my mental wellness. So what are the things, if you're watching in the replay, I'd love, tag me if you're watching in the replay. tag me on whatever platform you're on. On almost all platforms, I'm at Stacy Braiuca. And if you're watching this, you'll see how to spell the name. Just put the name, all one word. Tag me and tell me, what are the top pieces of technology that support your mental wellness? Now, let's not limit technology. And I want to be real clear about this. Let's not limit technology to devices like this. Let's expand our descriptor of technology to things like this, which is an awesome new book, by the way. I love this gal. I love her videos, and I love the new book. Let's expand technology to, this is my favorite, tea bottle, because it brews the tea cold, and I can put bags in, or I can put loose tea in, and it double filters where I'm drinking straight out of the bottle like that and getting tea. Because who doesn't want that? What are the top pieces of technology that support your mental wellness and your mental well-being? I'm going to just drop some good ones, some as they come to mind here. For me, one of the things that supports my mental well-being actually is the YouTubes or the TikToks or the Facebook Reels. So let's call it video story language or video stories. Whether that's because it's different than television shows, and even television shows, I'll keep those woven in. Streaming video, because I can go and pick out the thing that I'm wanting to watch at the time, whether it's somebody watercoloring, whether it's somebody making a new recipe that's keto, whether it's news. I am careful about how much negative news I consume at any given time, on purpose. I'm careful about that because I know that it'll destroy the joy. Looking for positive news, learning. I look at lots of things that I love to learn about subjects, which is why I don't really watch TV per se, like just to watch a movie or to watch a TV show, or certainly it's very rare for me to watch something I've watched before. It's like, why do I want to watch it again? Even if it's a great video, show, movie, whatever, I just don't do it. I know for some people, though, that's comforting, right? For me, it's anxiety provoking because it's like, why am I wasting my time? It's all the different, right? So we've got Sang in the house. Enjoy the music that plays in the gym while walking on the treadmill, and how you can okay, so it's your own, I'm gonna guess, is that your own playlist of what's on the treadmill, and you can customize it to your mood, or you, like, the gym has a thing and you can customize that to fit your mood, it sounds like. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? You bringing that up reminds me. I love the music on Manic Mondays on Station Head. That's also a Breakthrough Show Network activity because it's listed on the Breakthrough Show Network's calendar, I believe. Manic Mondays, there's a show of and it's threaded music, and so like one song will mention the word shadows, and the next song talks about shadows, and then the next, and but it also talks about rain, and then the next one talks about rain, and then it's a ladder, frequently done in that style of DJing. And I love the music it is. And after my Mondays are so freaking crazy, back to back meetings, just sitting back and listening to music, I do enjoy that one. Thank you for reminding me about like music that customized to mood reminded me of music. So the gym has a specific system. Okay. So they have a certain system that's based for your moods. And, you know, I think different places have different ways we consume media. So, for example, restaurants. How many restaurants, especially like, I'll call it sports bar, but like there's so many that are like sports bars slash whatever, right? And all that's on all the TVs is sports, because you can watch it without listening to the volume on it. And so you can watch the thing while you're in this loud social setting. But what about those of us who don't do sports? Because they don't have like other kinds of places where you can go and watch something else. So that one's a little challenging for those of us who aren't sports people. It's great if you are, and that type of thing, media, sports people. So Sang-Dee's Alexa assists her with reminders and answering random things you ask her. Yeah, I've got an Alexa that does that. I've got Siri that does that, and I've got the Googles that do that. Right now the Googles are turned off so I can talk about them and they won't hear me. I've got them unplugged just because I had to plug something else in there, I think. But Alexa, one thing that she supports my mental wellness with, oh my God. My alarm will go off on my phone or on my watch when I have my watch on. And I'll be like, oh, just 10 more minutes, Mom, just 10 more minutes. And what I can do is I can say, hey, her name, set an alarm for 15 minutes. And I don't even have to open my eyes. Because if you open, like we were talking about last week, if you open your eyes and you look at something with a screen, it activates your brain and then you're freaking awake. But if you can keep your eyes closed and you can tell her to set an alarm for 15 minutes from then, you can rest back into sleep. And actually, my very favorite guided meditation that also supports my my personal mental wellness is This Feeling Is You. It's a guided meditation by Jessica Boston. And so I just put that in the chat for everybody, because I literally found that guided meditation by randomly asking Alexa one day to play a guided meditation for me. And that's the one that it picked. How in the world I would have found that specific guided meditation by that lady with that, I just, to me, it has the perfect blend of the way she did the music production behind it and the hypnosis of her voice. And I mean, the way that, and the words that are used, and the fact that I can use it over and over in lots of different arenas. Favorite guided meditation. Absolutely. This Feeling Is You, guided meditation by Jessica Boston. It's on Spotify. I believe it's also on the YouTubes. So if you just look up This Feeling Is You, guided meditation, Jessica Boston, you will find it. I mean, I hope she knows I give her shout outs. I don't know if she does or doesn't. Back to Miss Sang. Oh, AirPods allow you to listen to audiobooks from the library. Audiobooks from the library. Audiobooks in general. Oh my God. Audiobooks, podcasts, even listening to YouTubes with not watching the screen, but just listening to them. I'll do that at night. I'll listen with my AirPods, and the light bothers other people who are sleeping in the room. So I will shut the iPad almost all the way down, or if it's my phone, I'll turn it upside down. And so it's still on, but it's going to my AirPods, and I can listen to audiobooks, or I can listen to a longer YouTube show, a show that's on. I do a lot of listening is how I consume media, because even with the television, when my husband's watching TV, I will be doing something else and I'll be listening to the TV that he's doing. And I don't always really watch the screen unless it's a subtitled thing. If they're speaking other languages and it's subtitled, then I have to look up and down to do that. But AirPods, like, and then let's take that back. Headphones and cassette tapes with a Walkman. Like, that's one of the first ways we were able to do that and take it with us, right? Or let's take it to transistor radios and being able to take a radio around. But before that, radio plays, when radio first came out, and having radio plays where they did live theatrical things into the radio and people would sit around their radio to listen. This is before TV, young ones, before they had televisions. There weren't a thing. People would sit around the radio and listen to a live play on the audios and share the experience. Let's flash forward all the way now to sitting in a video room like this that we're in with friends, and maybe we're watching something on the television set in this virtual room, and we're sharing the experience of watching the thing, but we're sharing it live with other people, maybe people who are around the world. And how that being in a space together, sharing virtual popcorn, watching a movie together, is a way we can be emotionally, physically, kind of physically, emotionally, socially with each other, consuming something entertaining while and not be alone. I think that's one of the things that the gifts, I'll call it gifts of COVID, is what I kind of call those. Gift of COVID, that we were finally drawn to this online virtual video media thing that then brought us together in different ways than we were used to. Similarly to how the Pony Express, riding the mail across the country, where you could send a letter from, California to New York before there was a postal service, or before there was, an official postal service that way, or before UPS, before Amazon, before blah, 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 blah. And you'd send something via Pony Express. And before that, yes, there were other ways, and it's like all of the different ways we have communicate with each other as humans are all forms of technology that support mental wellness by bringing us together as social beings. Because as humans, we are social beings. Even if we're feeling antisocial or not wanting to be with each other, at some level, we all, number one, we're all stuck on this rock together. But giving each other energies, especially positive energies, or support, or holding space for all the things that we do in our interaction with each other as humans, is that support of each other's mental wellness and support of each other's physical wellness, financial wellness, emotional wellness, social wellness, spiritual wellness, all the things. And so as different technologies have evolved, before the printing press, we would have scribes write things. So not everyone was able to write. So the only way we were able to be with each other or communicate was verbally. And then, we moved from there to having scribes write things, or chip things into rocks and communicate mass communication. Then the printing press, then or scribes, and then the printing press, and then books, and then libraries, and then let's flash forward to the Googles, and now flashing forward again in a short order to the GPTs. What's the next way that we're going to mass communicate information so that we can find what we need as soon as we need it through ALEXA's random question answering thing, or helping us take a recipe and making it better and healthier for us because it can access all the different scientific data and all the different ways that other people have done things, so that it brings together a new way to do something. And that supports our mental wellness because we take less time to find out about the recipes so we can eat better, so that we can be better. That I build recipes in the chat if you ever have used the chat GPTs to build recipes for you so that you can either eat better or use what you got in the cabinet to fix dinner or those kind of things. I'd love to hear other people's experience with that, because I can't be the only one asking ChatGPT to help me make better, higher protein Greek yogurt at home with what I know's in it. I can't be the only one. Although, just a little while ago, I heard the beep, and after this, I've got yogurt to put in the fridge. So we'll see how batch number, I think I'm on batch number 4. We'll see how batch 4 works out. They've gotten better each time, so we'll see. How we bring knowledge together supports our mental wellness. Some other pieces of technology that support mental wellness. Apps that have guided meditations, apps that have brown noise, videos on YouTube that have different kinds of brown noise, white noise, pink noise, you name a color noise, like we talked about last week. One of the things I have done of late, I've kind of gotten, okay, I'm addicted to it. Let's put it that way. YouTube, and there are videos that have a scene. Pick your scene. Pick, do you want to be on the beach? Do you want to be in a cabin in the mountains in the snow? Pick your scene and pick your sounds, and have this video play for 10 hours in the background, like on a screen, like maybe a TV you're not watching while you're doing something else. For background ambiance. We got so excited when there were ways to show slideshows on a TV just to show our pictures, or even family videos, but like just to be able to show a picture, and then a little while later it changes to another picture. And so like a live photo album, if you will. These YouTube videos are like that, but they're moving, so it's like, ooh, I can put one up that's got a fireplace and a puppy dog, and it's snowing outside. Now, not because I want it to be snowing outside, let's be clear. Even though I know that's actually coming my way. And if you're in the Midwest, well, really in the US, we've got some storms this week. Stay safe, everybody. But I can put at the beach with the sun shining and hear the birds, and maybe hear the waves lapping on the shore. And you can put one of those videos on and even just use that as your meditation. Close your eyes and sit back and hone in, make your senses hear the sounds. And as you hear those sounds on the YouTube videos, when you hear the waves lapping on the shore, imagine inside your body what the sun feels like in that place. Because you can actually trick your bod to feel the sun when you're sitting in ice-ass cold Kansas City in the middle of winter. You can trick yourself to feel that same feeling on your skin. You just have to focus in on it and remember what the feeling is like, and tell your body that you're feeling it. Because your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between that imaginary connection with your senses and a memory or a future memory. There's really cool ways you can mess with your own unconscious mind to do things, and that's one of them. It's also why things like guided meditations are helpful. And no, they don't have sunshine vision, so that like the YouTube video like emits sunshine out and so that you feel it, but you have that ability inside yourself. So the combination of the technology and the human come together to form an entire experience. It's humans' interaction with the technology, because frankly, it's us anyway. It's an extension of us anyway. The technology is an extension of what our brain has created. And then it's also one of the things why AI is actually kind of fun, because you can take your idea, put it into there, and then it's going to ask you another question. It makes you think. You think about the things, you put your answer or your idea in, it comes up, it cycles through things, and it's a great brainstorming partner. Now, I will give a cautionary tale on using things like AI for specifically for mental wellness. The way AI works with large language models is it's brings together all of these words, and we've used AI longer than we know we have used AI, because if you've ever used predictive text in your phone where you're typing a text message long and all of a sudden these words come up because it thinks it knows what you're going to type next, you've used AI, because that is AI in a specific format. It is how the large language models work. It's one of the premise behind things. So you put in something, it anticipates what the answer is, but then it also goes to the Googles, and yes, it has huge calculating power. It has huge, vast amounts of information, and it uses the algorithm of anticipated things to create everything. So it's a much larger scale, and it's a bigger thing than just predictive text. But stay with me for a minute. In the case of dealing with mental wellness, in the case of especially with feelings, with mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, especially with suicidality, with feeling like you're going to unalive yourself or others, those are scary things. We need to be very careful how we deal with that. Even if there is a professional standing in front of you who has experience with that, they're not going to be 100%, because there is no 100% with that. It is still one of the scariest, most challenging mental health interactions and things that live in our world. Anxiety and depression are connected to those things. Schizophrenia, borderline personality, narcissistic personality, communications between people, relationships, all of those things involve humans and mental health challenges at different levels and different times. Because of that, the machine just predicting the possibility of something is not enough. It does not have enough human in it to give safe answers. I'll call it that. Again, balloons apparently agree with me. That usually tells me that, okay, it tells me that I did this. That's all it really tells me. But it tells me that it also reminds me there's not enough human in the technology to deal with something that sensitive and that amount of safety. So please, 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 for the love of all things human, be very careful when you use AI, ChatGPT, large language models, any of the technologies to find answers for mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, feeling suicidal, feeling homicidal, feeling you're in unsafe environment, feeling like you're in domestic violence, solving relationship issues, solving communication issues. Is it going to give you ideas? Yes. Are some of the ideas going to be great? Absolutely. Is it going to solve it? No. Will it get there? I don't know. Should it get there? I don't know. We do still need each other as humans. Technology isn't going to completely take over everything, nor can it solve everything. It's always a connection between the human and the technology that has always propelled us evolutionary as humans. like from the idea of fire to, I can use that to cook meat. Oh, wait a minute, that keeps me warm. Oh, wait a minute, that might work to boil water, to create energy, to create steam, to power the thing, to electricity, to like all the things, right? It's the human thinking about the tech. And I always go all the way back to fire because it's the first one I personally can think of that is a technology for us. So it's always an interaction. Technology can absolutely support our mental wellness, but humans need to support other humans in mental wellness. You cannot replace the chemical release in your body that comes from hugging, from physical touch of another human being. That we don't have that yet. Yeah, could you possibly shoot something into your body to do it? Yeah, possibly. Is it the same? No. No, it's not. It's not the same experience. So interestingly, I'm going to close up a show about how technology supports mental wellness with it doesn't do all the things. But I'd love to hear from you what technology supports your mental wellness and why. And by technology, I mean, is it the fact that you have an amazing tea bottle where you can have the best tea in the world and not have to get tea leaves between your teeth when you do it? I don't know. I mean, I know that's a silly thing, but it's real. Is it the technology of a certain wellness app that reminds you to do the things? Is it a certain wellness app that allows you to, it's gamified and you earn points and that helps you motivate you to remember to do all the things? There's an app called Finch that many of my therapy clients use, and it helps them do things that to some people may sound silly to be reminded of, but for reals. And there's technology that is calling me on the telephone that I am busy, so I'm not available. Sorry about that. And it helped me. Okay, so technology called Finch. It's an app. Many of my therapy clients use it because it reminds them to do things as simple as taking a shower or making their bed or calling a friend or setting an alarm to go to bed at night or remembering to do something joyful. It reminds them of the things they need to do for self-care. It's an interactive experience between that, and it gamifies. When they do those things, their little character gets more things. But it doesn't penalize when they don't do it. And so I think thoughtful, creative technologies can support us as humans, and the thoughtful creation of those things comes from humans too. It's the same with any interaction between human beings, is thoughtful, creative, coming from positive intent places, can, like the fact that you care for another human being. No matter what it is you do for them, no matter how it happens, the fact that you care is underneath everything, and that care is a connection in and of itself. And us caring for each other, number one, like I said, we're stuck on this damn rock. There's nobody gotten off of it for life so far. There's people who've gotten off of it and then perished, unfortunately, but there's nobody who's like left and spent the rest of their days on another rock on purpose. That hasn't happened yet with humans. And until that does, we're stuck in this place with each other. And we need to support each other in whatever ways possible. So, again, my name's Stacy Braiuca, the Squirrel Wrangler. This has been Show Me Your Nuts, where we wrangle those inner squirrels and get real about mental wellness and technology. Got tech solid? Tech saying, I can't even speak. That's great. Got Techxiety? I solved that. I'll see you next week to show me more of your nuts. And please, please, please like, share, and subscribe, and go to the Breakthrough Show Network where there's more fun shows to watch and more places to connect with other human beings, to dive deep inside yourself, to be reflective, and to be loving to others. I hope you have an amazing week, an amazing day, an amazing week, and I will see you next Thursday, same time, same place, for some more Show Me Your Nuts. And see you there.
Thank you for joining us on this nutty adventure. Remember, personal growth and wellness are journeys best taken together. Keep exploring, keep growing, and don't forget to show me your nuts next time.